Okay, next we have The Ugly Duckling, performed by Claudia Alick, and she'll be the princess. Ted Spaz is going to be the king. Pat Hendricks will be the prince. Misty Nelson is Dulcibella. Cindy Rosansky will be the chancellor. Shane Adams is going to be Carlos. And Karis is going to be the queen.
Her Excellency the Chancellor!
I was thinking.
Never, Your Majesty, was there a greater need for thought than now.
That's what I was thinking. Well, what is it? More trouble?
What one might call the old trouble.
It's as I was saying to Her Majesty the Queen just last night. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, was how I put it.
A most profound and original thought. It may well go down for posterity.
You mean it may go down well with posterity? I hope so. Remind me to tell you again of something else I said to Her Majesty. Something about a fierce light beating on the throne. Posterity would like that, too. Well, what is it?
It is a matter of Her Royal Highness's wedding.
Oh, yes.
As Your Majesty is aware, Prince Simon arrives today to seek her hand in marriage. He has been traveling in far lands and has not,
What you are trying to say is that he hasn't heard anything.
This is very difficult to put tactfully, Your Majesty.
Well, do your best, and I shall tell you afterwards how you got on.
One might put it this way. Prince Simon is bound to naturally expect that she has the customary, so customary, as to be, in my own humble opinion, slightly monotonous, what one might call inevitable, so inevitable as to be, once again, in my own opinion, almost mechanical. He will, in fact, expect that she has what I like to call faultily faultless, icily regular, splendid.
What you are trying to say, in as few words possible, is that my daughter is not beautiful.
Her beauty is elusive, Your Majesty.
It is. Her beauty has eluded me. It has eluded you. It has eluded, in fact, everyone who has seen her. It has even eluded the court painter. His last words were, "Well, I did my best." His successor is currently painting the view across the moat from the West Tower. His doctor has advised him to stick to landscape.
Well, there it is. One cannot just guess how it might have happened.
You don't think she takes after me at all, do you? You don't detect a likeness?
Oh, most certainly not, Your Majesty.
Good. Your predecessor did.
I have often wondered what happened to my predecessor.
Well, now you know.
Well, on to brighter things. Well, she is not strictly beautiful. She has
not truthfully beautiful.
Anyway, she has great beauty of character.
My dear Chancellor, we are not discussing Her Highness's qualities of character. We are discussing her chances of getting married. You do agree there is a distinction?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Look at it from the suitor's point of view. If you have a beautiful girl, it is easy to assume she has tucked away inside her an equally beautiful character. However, an unattractive girl, however elevated in character, is impossible to assume she has tucked away inside her an equally attractive face. That is, so to speak, not where you want it, tucked away.
Quite so, Your Majesty.
This doesn't alter, of course, the fact that Princess Camilla is quite the nicest person in the kingdom.
Oh, the very nicest. With exception, of course, to Your Majesty and Her Majesty.
Your exceptions are tolerated for their extreme loyalty and condemned for their extreme fatuity.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
As an adjective used to describe your king, the word nice is ill-chosen. As an adjective for Her Majesty, it is, ill-chosen.
Talking about Camilla.
As always, my dear, you are right.
This fellow Simon, what's he like?
No one has seen him, Your Majesty.
But how old is he?
5 and 20, to my understanding.
In 25 years, he must have been seen by somebody.
Just a fleeting glimpse?
What I meant to say, of course, was that he's been traveling in distant lands, and the only word we have of him here is that he has the royal attributes expected of a prince.
Nothing gone wrong with his eyes. Sunstroke.
Not to my knowledge. As I was about to venture to the king, while she is not strictly beautiful, she has great beauty of character. She is nice.
Stuff and nonsense. You remember what happened at the Tournament of Love last year?
I was not present. I had not the honor, well, I was abroad and did not hear the full story.
No, it was the other fool. They all rode up to pay their homage to Camilla. The trumpets blew, and the heralds announced that she would marry whoever was left master of the field when all the others had been unhorsed. The trumpets blew again, they charged enthusiastically into the fight. Don't do that.
Sorry, dear.
And what happened? They all simultaneously fell off their horses and assumed a posture of defeat.
One was not so quick as the others. I was very quick. I proclaimed him the victor.
At the Feast of Betrothal held that night,
We were all very quick.
the Chancellor announced that by the laws of the country, the suitor must pass one further test. He must correctly answer a riddle.
This is indeed fact, Your Majesty.
There are times, Chancellor, for stating fact, and there are times for keeping an open mind. Try to remember that.
Yes, Your Majesty, forgive me.
The riddle was very easy. It was just this. What has 4 legs and barks like a dog? The answer is a dog.
You see that?
Yes, Your Majesty.
It isn't difficult.
No, Your Majesty.
He, however, seemed to find it so. First he said an eagle, then he said a serpent, a very high mountain with slippery sides, a moonlit night, the day after tomorrow.
No one could accuse him of not trying.
I did.
What I meant to say, my dear, was that no one could fail to recognize in his attitude an appearance of doggedness.
Well, finally he said death. I nudged the king.
Accepting the word nudge for the moment, I rubbed my shins with one hand and clasped him on the shoulder with the other, and congratulated him on the correct answer to the riddle. He promptly disappeared under a table, and I, for one, never saw him again.
His body was found in the moat the next morning.
What could it have been doing in the moat?
Bobbing about. Try not to ask needless questions, Chancellor.
Of course, Your Majesty.
And of course, you know, what happened to her on her christening day is simply awful. I mean, not that you can blame dear Aunt Malkin, of course. There was besetting weakness. I mean, she came to my christening. She was 101 then. That was 31 years ago. How old does that make her?
152, Your Majesty.
About that, yes. She came to my christening, and she said I should have all the happiness which my wife deserved. It struck me at the time, well, when I say at the time, I was a week old, but as soon as anything could strike me, I mean, of that nature, figure it out for yourself, Chancellor. It opens up a most fascinating realm of speculation. Of course, I don't like to discuss it all that much with Her Majesty.
I've never heard anything less cryptic. She was wishing you extreme happiness.
I don't think she was wishing me anything, however.
The point is, what did she wish the princess?
Well, her other godmother, on my side, had wished her the extreme beauty that was known for all the women in my family.
Indeed so, Your Majesty.
And Aunt Malkin said, I give you with this kiss a wedding day surprise, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. I thought the last 2 lines rather neat myself, but what it meant, you
You can
see...
all see what it meant. She was given great beauty, and your great Aunt Malkin took it away from her. The wedding day surprises, there won't be any wedding.
Young men being what they are, my dear, I think it would be much more surprising if there were a wedding.
Oh, hello, darling. Oh, affairs of state? Sorry.
Don't go, Camilla.
Shall I withdraw, Your Majesty?
Camilla, if you were aware that Prince Simon arrives today,
Oh, yes, he's already arrived. They're letting down the drawbridge now.
Arrived, I must go...
Don't go, darling. You know what the drawbridge is like. It takes at least a half an hour to let it down.
It wants oil. Have you been begrudging it oil?
It wants a new drawbridge, darling.
Have I Your Majesty's permission to...
Yes.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
you've told him, of course, it's the only chance.
No, I was just going to when,
Then I'd better. Have you told the girl?
No, I was just going to when...
I'll get the girl, you tell Camilla.
My dear, do you think this is wise?
It's the only chance. My daughter.
Camilla, I want to talk to you seriously about marriage.
Yes, Father.
Now, it's time I told you some of the facts of life.
Yes, Father.
Now, the main fact here is that once you get married, you live happily ever after. All of our history books confirm this.
And your own experience, too, darling.
Let's stick to history for the moment.
Yes, Father.
Of course, there is an occasional exception here and there, which, as it were, proves the rule, just as an exception, well, Never mind.
Go on, darling. You were going to say, with an exception here and there, all princesses are beautiful.
Well, leave that for the moment. You see, the point is, it doesn't matter who you marry or how you get married as long as you get married. Because you live happily ever after in any case.
Yes, father.
Now, your mother and I have come up with a little plan.
Was that it going out the door just now?
Yes. It involves your waiting maid, Dulcibella.
Darling, I have several.
Only one that leaps to the eye, so to speak. The one with, the one with everything.
Dulcibella.
That's the one. Now, it is in our little plan that at the first meeting with Prince Simon, she should take your place, a harmless ruse of which you'll find many examples in the history books. And she should then allure him to his, bring him up to the... Well, the point is the wedding will take place immediately. Naturally, in view of your Aunt Malkin's besetting weakness and the fact that you will be wearing the family bridal veil, no doubt how the custom got started, the surprise after the wedding will be Prince Simon's. Are you following me at all? Your attention seems to be wandering.
I was wondering, why do you have to tell me this?
In case you should meet with Prince Simon before the wedding, you should pass yourself off as Dulcibella.
Ah, our history books record many similar ruses.
Yes, but the situation need not arise.
Yes, father.
The woman Dulcibella!
You'd better go, my dear. I shall show you to your chambers, and I shall come for you when it is time for the ceremony. Come in, my dear. There's no need to be frightened. Has Her Majesty told you what you must do?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Well, then, let's just see how well you can do it. You are sitting here, we shall say. I am the handsome Prince Simon. You are beautiful Dulcibella, whom he has never seen. This is a serious moment in your life. You'll find that a giggle will not be helpful. I am announced. His Royal Highness Prince Simon! That's me being announced. You should have a faraway look upon the face. No, farther away than that. No, that's too far. You should be sitting there thinking beautiful thoughts, fancy-free, made in meditation, as I remember saying to Her Majesty once, speaking of someone else, but with the mouth definitely closed. That's better. I advance upon you and fall to one knee. You graciously extend your hand, graciously, you're not trying to push him in the face, and I take it in mine, and I kiss it. No, perhaps not so ardently, perhaps more like this. And I say, Your Royal Highness, it is ever... No. Your Royal Highness, it is the most... No. Your Royal Highness, it is ever my privilege... The point is, he will say it, and it will be highly complimentary, and he shall take your hand in both of his and press it to his heart. And what do you say?
Coo!
No, not coo.
Never had anyone do that to me before.
That somehow also strikes the wrong chord. What you want to say is, oh, Prince Simon.
Oh, Prince Simon!
No, dear, there's no need to shout until he has said what 2 or 3 times. Always bear in mind the possibility that he isn't deaf and that there's nothing wrong with his ears. You should say the words softly, giving them a dying fall, letting them play around his head like a flight of doves.
Oh, Prince Simon!
Try to bear in mind a flight of doves rather than a stampede of panicked elephants, and I think you shall do fine. Now, I get to my feet, and you will, as it were, waft me into the seat by your side. Wafting, dear, not rescuing a drowning man. That's another idea altogether. Useful at times, but at the moment inappropriate. Young Prince Simon will put the necessary muscles into play. All you need do is indicate with a gracious hand movement which seat you wish him to take. That'll do. Well, here we are. Now, I think you should give me a look. Something between the breathless adoration of a nun and the voluptuous abandonment of a woman of the world, with an undertone of regal dignity and a dose of good comradeship. No, that's not quite it. There's something missing. Perhaps an absence of all the qualities I requested, and in their place an odd resemblance to an unsatisfied fish. Let's try this another way. Dulcibella, have you a young man of your own?
Oh, yes, Your Majesty. He's ever so smart. He's an archer. Well, not what you might call a real archer. He's in the armory. But old Bottlenose, you know who I mean, the captain of the guard, says the very next man they have to shoot, my egg should take his place. And knowing, Father, how it is with Egg and me being made for a Royal Highness, and can't marry me till he's a real soldier, but ever so loving and funny, like the things he says to me. I said to him once, Egg,
I said?
Dulcibella, I think that if you keep egg in mind and try to say as little as possible, and when thinking of egg, make sure that your mouth is no more than partially open, you shall be fine. Now, I shall show you to the room where you shall await the first meeting with Prince Simon. Remember, walk, not oink.
Wow.
Oh, hello.
Aren't you?
Do sit down, won't you?
Who are you, and how did you get here?
That's rather a long story. Couldn't we sit down first?
That's the king's throne.
Oh, is that what it is?
Thrones were not meant to be comfortable.
Well, I don't know if they were meant to be, but they certainly aren't.
Why are you sitting on the king's throne, and who are you?
My name is Carlo.
Mine is Dulcibella.
Do sit down, won't you?
You may sit here if you like. Why are you so tired?
I've been taking very strenuous exercise.
Is that part of the long story?
It is.
I love long stories.
Well, it really isn't a story. You see, I'm attendant to Prince Simon, who is visiting here.
Oh, I'm attendant to Her Royal Highness.
Then you know why he's here.
Yes.
I've heard she's very beautiful.
Did you hear that? Where have you been lately?
I've been traveling in distant lands with Prince Simon.
All the same, I don't understand. Is Prince Simon in here already? The drawbridge can't be down yet.
No, I don't think it is, and what a noise it makes coming down.
Isn't it terrible?
Yes, I just couldn't stand it anymore. That's why I'm here.
But how?
Well, there's only one way, isn't there? First the beech tree, then a swing for the tower, and don't ask me to remember it all.
You came here across the moat by the beech tree?
Yes, I've been hanging there for quite some time.
Oh, of course, it's different for me.
Wait, I think I heard you wrong. Would you repeat that?
It's different for me, because I'm used to it. Besides, I'm so much lighter than you.
You say you're used to it. Have you done it before?
Oh, yes, often. There's another way to get across, too. It's, you take a tree, and then you jump into another tree. I don't think it's quite so easy.
You'll have to teach me sometime.
Oh, I will.
Well, you'll probably have to teach me how to swim first.
You can't swim?
No, don't be so surprised. There are many things I can't do. And I'll tell you about them sometime when you have a couple years to spare.
You cross the moat by the beech tree, and you're ever so much heavier than I am, and you can't swim. Now who's brave?
You keep talking about how light you are. I must see. Stand up. I could hold you forever. Do you know how beautiful you are?
Yes.
Why do you laugh?
Well, that's a little secret of mine. Aren't you tired of holding me yet?
Actually, yes. When I said I could hold you forever, I was just using a figure of speech. When you've been hanging by your arms for 10 minutes, it seems to get very tiring.
Did you want to know that secret?
Yes, I have one too.
Mine's a very private secret. Only one other woman in the entire world knows.
Mine's just as private. Only one man in the whole world knows.
What fun. I love secrets. All right, here's mine. When I was born, one of my godmothers said that I would be very beautiful. And the other one said this: I give you with this kiss a wedding day surprise, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. And nobody knew what it meant, and I grew up very plain. And then, one day, I met my godmother in the forest when I was 10. Nobody knows this except for you.
Except for us.
Except for us. And she told me what her gift meant. It meant that I was beautiful, but everyone was going to go on being ignorant and thinking me plain. Because she said it was best to be, she didn't want me to grow up being willful and spoiled and vain, as I should have been if everyone was calling me beautiful. And she said the best thing in the world was to think a lot of yourself, but not to expect admiration from other people. So ever since then, I look in the mirror, and it tells me I'm beautiful. And other people think I'm ugly. I get a lot of fun out of it.
Well, seeing that Dulcibella is the result, I can say that your godmother was very, very wise.
Now tell me your secret.
Well, it's not so special. You see, Prince Simon was going to woo Princess Camilla, but he had heard that she was beautiful, haughty, and wise, and considering that he was a very plain fellow, he decided to trade places with one of his men. So he got his man Carlo, a very handsome-looking man, and said that they would trade places at the last minute.
But how?
He would be married in full armor.
Ah, what fun.
Neat, isn't it?
Oh, very, very, very.
Neat, but not so funny. Why do you laugh?
Well, that's another secret.
Well, if it comes to that, I've got another one too. Shall we exchange them?
All right, you go first this time.
Very well. I am not Carlo. I am Prince Simon.
Oh, what is it?
Cramp.
Shall I rub it for you?
I am Prince Simon.
Is that better?
I am Prince Simon.
I know.
How? Shouldn't you swoon or something?
Oh, no. History records many similar such ruses.
Really? I've never read history before. I thought I was being profoundly original.
Oh, no. Now here's my secret. For reasons much similar to your own, the Princess Camilla, who's thought to be very plain, decided to trade places with her maid. Is the drawbridge down yet?
Do your people give a faint cheer when it comes down?
Naturally.
Then it came down 3 minutes ago.
Ah, then at this very moment, my maid, Dulcibella, is declaring her passionate love for your man, Carlo. That, I think, is very funny. By the way, I hope that your man, Carlo, isn't getting ideas or getting carried away. Dulcibella has a man she calls Egg.
Carlo has a woman at home that he is married to who he calls the little woman, so Egg has nothing to worry about.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I said, or as good as said, that I am the Princess Camilla.
I wasn't surprised. History, of which I've read quite a deal, says this all the time.
Oh, Simon.
Oh, Camilla. May I try to hold you again?
I knew that when you helped me the first time before and you said I was very beautiful, that you must be Simon, because my godmother said that the first man to say that I was lovely should be the man I should marry. So I knew that you were Simon and that I should marry you.
I knew when I first saw you that I would marry you, even if you were Dulcibella. By the way, who am I marrying?
When she lifts the veil, it will be me. Until then, it will be Dulcibella.
Until then.
Until then.
More importantly, who or what are all these?
My attendant, Your Majesty. He is, or he will be, with Your Majesty's permission, of course, be preparing me for the celebration.
Yes, of course.
And your maid Isabella, isn't it, my dear?
Yes. Please forgive me, sire. I found this man wandering.
Yes, quite all right, my dear. We pulled it off.
Do I have Your Majesty's permission to put the final test to His Royal Highness?
Is this safe?
Perfectly safe, my dear. I told him the answer a minute ago. Remember, dog. Yes, go right ahead, Chancellor. It is ever in my interest to see the country's affairs conducted in a constitutional manner.
By the Constitution of this country, every suitor to Her Royal Highness must answer a riddle correctly. The last suitor answered incorrectly and thus failed to win his bride.
By coincidence, he fell into the moat.
I have now only to ask you if you are prepared for the ordeal.
Absolutely.
I might mention, as slight consequence to our visitor, that the same riddle is not allowed to be asked on 2 successive occasions.
What's that?
The riddle is this. What has 4 legs and meows like a cat?
A dog.
Bravo.
By the records to which I referred before, it would...
Sire, I would like to say, because
Yeah?
I hear this is such a stressful time for him, that in our land we have an animal to which we call the dog. Or, in the country's dialect, we call it the doggy. It sits by the fire and it purrs.
That's right. It purrs like anything.
And when it's hungry, it meows.
It meows like everything goes.
And to one land that we penetrated, it was called by the curious name of hippopotamus.
That's right. Do you remember that ginger-colored hippopotamus that used to sit on my shoulder and lick my ear?
Very well, sir.
Well, very good. I think we can all congratulate His Highness on the correct answer. You were about to agree, Chancellor.
Most certainly, Your Highness. May I be the first to congratulate His Royal Highness on answering so accurately?
You may be the first to prepare for an immediate wedding.
Yes, Your Majesty. Thank you.
sir.
Well, congratulations, young man. I'm sure your attendant will be happy to prepare you for this coming ceremony. He must be very happy.
Yes, thank you.
Young man, you have a quality of quickness which I greatly admire. I am perfectly happy to reward you in any manner which commends itself to you.
Your Majesty, may I ask for my reward after the ceremony?
Yes, of course. Now, young woman, make yourself scarce. You've done your job admirably, and I will make sure that you and your... what was his name?
Egg, Your Majesty.
You and your egg are not forgotten.
Coo. Wait for me, Dulcibella.
Well, my dear, I think we may congratulate ourselves. What do you think of him?
Stupid.
I think he and Dulcibella make a very charming pair, don't you?
Yes, they're both stupid.
I was not commenting on their stupidity. I was merely implying that they were both very handsome. That's the important thing. Isn't it?
What do you think of him, Camilla?
Oh, I adore him. We'll be so happy together.
See, I told you, happily ever after.
And now, dear, you must go and prepare yourself for the ceremony.
Yes, Mother.
Dear, do you think we've been wrong about Dulcibella all this time? It just struck me at the moment that she seemed somehow less plain than usual.
No, it's just the excitement of the wedding.
Of course, that must be it.
Okay, this is Gutierrez, and she's going to be your MC for the next 2 hours. Hello, as Bridget said, I'm Megan Gutierrez, and I'm going to be your MC for the next 2 hours. I'm a freshman here at Hellgate. I'm promising that the 2 following hours are going to be filled with love and laughter. So, we're going to kick off this hour with a mother and her 2 daughters singing about love and peace starting in your own family. Her name is Barbara Riley, and her daughters' names are Kelson Bevins and Drewally Riley.
All I really need is a song in my heart, food in my belly, love in my family. All I really need is a song in my heart, love in my family. And I need the rain to fall, and I need the sun to shine, to give life to the seeds I sow, to get the food we need to grow. All I really need is a song in my heart, love in my family. And I need some clean water for drinking, and I need some clean air for breathing, so that I can grow up strong, take my place where